Hi, how's everyone doing tonight? David and I have been talking a bit about cybersecurity lately, in the world of post COVID, or actually, we're still in COVID, kind of this zombie apocalypse and hackers, bad actors. We really thought that we should have this Ask Me Anything all about cybersecurity.
Hey, what are you doing here? What's going on? This is my live stream.
Nobody cares about music. We care about what if they hack their music, IP, intellectual property.
How'd you get in here anyway?
Okay. All right. Cheers. Have a good
night. Oh, hi. Did you like the start of our live stream for the week? Just mixing it up, something totally different. Yeah. How's everyone doing? I am back. It'll be me from now on. Don't worry. Welcome to where are we? Number 24. Number 24 of this live stream is happening, and we'll see how many people got confused at the start with having Misty on. But yeah, I hope you've had an amazing week. I have been inspired to do some work back on hey Kerry, back on Neon, some John Mayer and all that fun stuff. After, was it last week? Maybe 2 weeks ago. So much is happening. Hey Sean, good morning. And finally digging into probably learning it properly, which is interesting because I've been playing it for a bunch of years. I don't know if anyone else has been playing it, and then I play around with doing a loop, just putting a groove in behind it. So hey everybody, hey Florian, nice to have you here. But yeah, it's a little bit of a funny one. I thought it might be worth having a chat and kicking the session off, because I'll plug the guitar in. I've literally been playing this for a long time, and I don't know, some of you know, I studied classical guitar, so it gave me some good training with finger picking and all that sort of stuff. But then, of course, John Mayer only really uses his thumb and first finger. So if I want to play it like him, I have to go through the painful process of picking everything with my first finger, which means it's currently pretty sore, which is the fun of practicing guitar sometimes. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know if you've ever come across this, but to learn, it's like to learn something new, you kind of have to go backwards and be frustrated, I guess, at times. Because typically I would play the with all my fingers, but John doesn't. So I've literally gone back to going and it's a little frustrating. So anyway, a bit of tuning, but I thought should we just play it? I'm gonna have to play it old school styles if if I do this, because my new, and this is the worst part about doing this, is a song I've been playing for a long time. Now, if I go and play it live, I feel like I need to put it on hold, because I just revert to the old old pattern of playing it. But because none of you have put any questions in the chat, then I'm just going to play a song. And I can probably almost hear that loop. enough. I can't hear that at all. To see the colors of the city lights, a trail of ruby red and diamond white. It's like a sunrise. She comes and goes and comes and goes like no one can. Tonight she's out to lose herself and find a hat on Peachtree Street. From X-rays to techno beats, it's always heavy into everything. She comes and goes and comes and goes like no one can. She comes and goes and no one knows. She's slipping through my hands. She's always buzzing just like Leon, 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 Leon. Who knows how long, how long, how long she can go before she burns away. I can be her angel now. You know it's not my place to hold her down. And it's hard for me to take a stand when I would take her any way I can. She comes and goes and comes and goes like no one can. She comes and goes and no one knows. She's slipping through my hands. She's always buzzing just like Leon, 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 Leon. Who knows how long, how long, how long she can go before she burns away, away. I hope you're well. If you do have any questions, I'm just kind of jamming in the meantime of this little Ask Me Anything session. That's a great question, given this is a pretty rough loop. In terms of playing in the pocket, the biggest one I would say is being able to hear your loop really clearly. Yeah, hey Red, hey everyone, Clark. Yeah, just in terms of being able to hear things and playing, I look at it a little bit like metronome work, and even with a metronome, I've been going back to basics. Just being able to, I find like moving, and I kind of sing stuff in my head that helps me. I also find that the less confident I am with something, the more my timing's going to vary. So obviously just practice in terms of the physical skills. Are you having any, I'm curious, Clark, if you're having any particular areas where you're like, man, I'm struggling to really get into the groove. Because I do find that when I first set a metronome tempo, it takes me a while to lock in. And I've been guilty of doing it recently, is that I did it tonight as well, not really feeling the tempo and groove before nailing that first loop. Well, she comes and she goes like no one can. Well, she comes and she goes, yeah. She's slipping through my hair. She's always buzzing just like neon, 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 neon. Who knows how long, how long, how long she can go before she burns away. Okay, we'll try testing out the actual John Mayer way of playing it that I've been learning. Let's see, here we go, switch. It's as you can tell, not there, and so it's interesting. If you cheers, Clark. Yeah, I hope those things gave you something to think about. It's something that I'm honestly still working on. I still spend time with a metronome, and I do notice anytime I set a metronome speed, it takes me a certain amount of time to really lock in. So I have been practicing this with running a metronome. Hey, John Paul, cheers for jumping on. Nice to see you. I've been practicing this with a metronome, and I notice the parts at the moment using this different style of playing the song. I notice the parts that are loose in terms of the timing, in terms of these. I'm pretty good. That's consistent. And then he's got this thumb rake, if you like, or roll back to that first finger. And just timing wise, I really struggle because it's not a technique I use. It's not something I'm comfortable with. So I think there's a balance of working on your timing, but sometimes working on your timing means working on the actual, for me anyway, I can only really speak for myself, means working on the actual skill. And that just shows up really clearly in this, that my timing goes out on that bit because I'm trying to do a technique that I'm not confident with. I'm not good at, and literally this is the only song I need to do it in, or I've learned that has it, where it's also got to be in time. It's got to be locked in. So I basically go back over it. But a metronome is really good. Also, using a drum groove where there's a bit more groove to it will help lock in some things as well. So yeah. Hi everyone, if you've just joined, welcome. If you're confused about the start of this video, then we were having a bit of fun just to kick it off. And if you're not into fun, well, bad luck. No, but Josh, hey, Grimsh, good morning. Charlotte, I presume your last name and first name are the other way around, and I should be calling you Charlotte rather than Zanetti, but who knows? Hi, welcome to the stream. Josh, do you struggle with soloing over songs in non-standard tunings because the muscle memory? Yeah, absolutely. This is not really a drama because it's just that bottom string that's there. So not too much of a if you avoid that string, you're kind of safe. But it's actually been on my list for a long time to learn to improvise well over a song of mine called Whiskey and Red Wine that's in a D minor 9 tuning. And I haven't put the time in, and it absolutely messes with my head because when I come to improvise, I still think in terms of a standard tuning. I think it's just a combo of putting in the time, to be honest, man. Is there something you're playing around with? Curious at the moment. Cool. Music Live host, welcome. Charlotte, nice. Hey David, most of the musicians who do covers are not stars, not famous, while they are very talented. Yes, and when they make their own music, sometimes they don't convince the audience. What's your advice? What's my advice on what? I'm not quite sure the question you're asking me here. I get the sense that there's two things that come up. So if you want to clarify your question, then that'd be awesome. But there's two things that come up is if you're playing a show that is a covers show, people generally want to hear something they know and sing along and that sort of thing. So your people are in a different mindset. They're expecting something different. And if every song you've played so far is something they know and you play something they don't know, it might be a famous song, but it often can leave the room feeling flat. And that doesn't have to be your song. It can just be, I have a bunch of friends here that play live full-time professional musicians that are from the UK. There are a bunch of songs in the UK that are super popular and that they came over here and were like, oh yeah, Dance Floor is going, I'll play this. And we've had chats and I'm like, it just wasn't that popular in New Zealand. No one knows it. And they've, the dance floor is kind of like dwindled out. So it's not necessarily your songwriting. It's not, hey Matt, speaking of these people from the UK, it's not necessarily your songwriting. It's how you frame things, I think, as well. Like someone that jumped online for this live session tonight, and expected me to be playing the whole time, probably will be disappointed. It's not, hopefully, it's not because I'm, bad or good or whatever, or that this isn't necessarily useful. It's kind of what they were expecting along the way, where all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's not what you set them up for. So, I hope that answered your question. Music Live host. That's my thoughts. I don't know if I've actually covered specifically what you were hoping to get or not from that. But nice, Josh. With Bloodstream and Tenerife, I would probably spend some time. Two things. I would spend some time learning a major and a minor scale, just as a basics. It'll help get your head around step by step what changes between those strings, and how much further you suddenly have to go on the G string to get to the next note, if you like, when you switch to the B. And then after kind of doing that, just to tell your brain the basics of the tuning, I would just set up maybe something slow, like you could even just set up a real basic version of the I'll pretend I have a capo, but it's sort of you could base it. I mean, you could just play the song. Let's be honest, but and let's bring in some guitar. But I mean, one string you're going to be roughly all right, and then so you got to realize it's like you'll get used to after a while. That's probably where you're going to get the odd. I would literally do what I'm doing now, set up some kind of little loop that has you in the key you want to be in and start to set up a nicer loop than I did though. But yeah, otherwise the thing I'd recommend is singing a line. So if you have and you want to do a solo over, it's a really good way to just learn phrases and whatever you want to, and I'd learn that. So you're gonna have to think where that's gonna go, which wouldn't be where it normally will be. So that'll just help you start getting familiar with it. But it honestly, it's practice. Like, hopefully, how bad that was gives you good insight and motivation to. That's really why I do these streams. Everyone is just so you're inspired to be like, oh my gosh, that was awful, and he does this full time. What's going on? But I do think it's funny. We chatted last week, and I was like, in general, this. What you guys get to see on any YouTube channel, anyone that you follow, any released music and all that sort of stuff, is generally that person at their best. Like, rather than the, it's been tempting. Shimon and I talked to her like, should we just stream our practice sessions? Maybe we should sometime. They're terrible and quite funny, but you'll soon tune out and like grab your guitar and be like, oh my gosh, these guys are doing music. What the heck? I can do that. So yeah, there we go. On top of open chords, do you do chord inversion and T? Joshua, I think you might have got cut off. 2 seconds. We're just taking a coffee break due to our cybersecurity attack comedy intro to this live stream. My coffee is all the way, very far away. So I will be back. Make yourselves a drink for like 3 seconds. Now we can continue. Much better. All right. On top of open chords, do you do inversions and chord inversions? And I'm reading chats in advance. Anyway, we'll get to them. Do you do chord inversions? Absolutely. I think it's a really great way of building, especially with obviously looping. It's a really great way as well of connecting with when you're playing with other musicians. That you can have two guitars, and often what you see is you see one person playing that, and then the next person is playing the same register on the guitar. But then if you learn your inversions, we can come up and be like, okay, we could do a G up here somewhere with a C, and then back to D. So I'm just going to pick some, but wherever you want to be, you can play those chords in a different part on the neck. And then it just helps those parts not be in the way of each other to fill out your sound that way. So wherever you want to go with it, but I think it's really it's a really good exercise. I actually went through this in a lesson a little while back with someone wanting to learn improv and doing some looping and that sort of thing. And I highly recommend playing. This is a good example to use, but G, C, C, G, D. Be like, right, where's the next place I can play the next shape? The cage system. So it'll be like, right, G, C, C, G. And from our D here, we actually get the next shape will be C. So then practice next time you're playing the song. In those formations, then from there, you're going to have G. Again, I'm just shifting up the next in the cage system. Go and look it up. G to C, G shape. So nice. Nice stretch for the fingers. And then what are we, D? So it's going to be D shape after that. So, and then just keep working your way up the neck, and you'll start to then, for soloing as well, I know that, cool, I've got a G chord here. In this shape, I've got the C chord, and then a D. I've got some note choices around the chords there. So yeah, I hope that helps. I think it's a really worthwhile thing, taking the time to do. But like all of these things, you've got to pick something, and it takes time. So. John Paul Music, getting back to how have you found online versus live gigs? As there is a fear in the UK of a second lockdown and no sign of musicians playing in pubs and clubs we used to, have you thought about online gigs? Yeah, look, I've just started doing some shows. I think I will do some looping live shows via this YouTube channel, but have on Facebook, either from David Shannon or from David and Shimner, which is a duo we've been doing Thursday night, 7:00 little live streams using a virtual little tipping jar from PayPal that has started to become part of what we've decided to do in terms of building our audience, building our following, just getting back to playing again. We're just having fun with it and doing some live streams. Obviously, it's if people want to contribute or think of it as buying a ticket to see us live, then great. But at the moment, it really is we're playing tunes and figuring out the gear, the sound, the equipment in terms of that. Then it's been interesting. Our very first one, we were exhausted, and it was so much mental power setting up all this. We hadn't played. Our last live show was a festival in January in Australia, and then she had a project and things in February. We didn't play anything together in March. It was lockdown. So it's been an interesting process, and there's a lot ticking away for me behind the scenes at the moment that some of that will come out. You'll see it on the channel in terms of just there we go. The shows on Facebook are excellent. Thanks, Kerry. Appreciate it. So I'm not sure if this will let me link, but let's see. Is facebook.com/David and Shimmer. It might let you go and check it out, provided I type that correctly. So we're doing Thursday 7 o'clock. Just it's pretty raw. It's Kerry, I even found a new bad joke for this week's show actually today. So I've got something prepared. But yeah, just in terms of the flavor, it's very different. You're singing to a camera. There's not that feedback and audience interaction. We are looking at what we can do to change that. We had one studio guest last week. And so that will be something that rolls out for us in a little while, where we will do basically we can have gatherings of up to 10 people at the moment here. So we'll be live streaming and moving around where we're able to have a group of 10 people, up to 10, I guess. So it might be 4 or 5 and streaming from a different venue, a different place. So yeah, it's just a different vibe, and I could talk about it for ages, because there's a lot more. I'm used to setting up audio gear and having to do our own mixes at various things. Sometimes super nice. We've got people on sound and all that sort of stuff as well. But suddenly having to get camera gear set up, even from the simple things of you're charging batteries and you're trying to get lighting happening so that it actually looks decent. And then being like, right, we better actually see what our levels are and organize sound, and living in the headphones at the moment a bit. But it has been nice, and a very different change. So Music Live has, oh, thank you. Can you share gears you're using for this live stream? I think I might. At the moment, the only thing feeding in is this camera, so I can't really show you what's going on for this live stream, but I will make a point actually for the live streams of putting the gear, just Amazon links, so you can go and just see what I'm running. It doesn't mean you should run the same thing that I'm running, but I guess sometimes it's one of those things to realize, okay, this is what it looks like if you use all of this gear. But a bunch of you know I'm using the Zoom L8 desk. I've done a few videos on that. That's been floating around. I am using an ATEM Mini from Blackmagic Design, which is beyond what I need. But one of the reasons I bought it is because I plan to do a bunch more in this scenario of live streaming, not only for myself, but actually for other musicians and bands. And it means I can have up to 4 different cameras. So there will be a point somewhere down the track where I will probably offer that as part of the film work that I do. And running wireless HDMI, which means I can have a roaming camera all linked into it and someone switching between cameras, which will mean we have some pretty epic live shows. But for now, mostly just running one camera. I have an Aston Origin microphone, which I love. If you've been thinking of getting a condenser microphone for guitar and vocals, highly recommend it. A laptop and a Canon 6D is my main camera that I've had for about a year now, maybe longer. Yeah, thank you, appreciate it. Matt, I love Guthrie Govan. Yeah, Fives is probably my favorite little tune of his, but also, yeah, there's amazing links from him online. I love, I started doing that with modes because I realized I default into hearing. Sorry, this is your next comment. He swears by playing a scale over a single drone of whatever chord it is derived from, gives you a real sense of character and feel of each note and how it relates to the root. Highly, highly agree. When I first learnt modes, I thought I just basically learnt a scale and then played it over a different key, but I was still thinking that the root was the D. So that exact exercise helped me start playing and start feeling like, okay, what happens if that's my root, but I'm basically playing a D major scale. And then it starts to be, you start to hear that like, that's where I finish. I want to finish on the E, rather than like hearing it differently. So it's an ear exercise and I love it. Yeah, go on. If you haven't checked out Guthrie Govan, superb player. Literally kills my my hand and fingers doing. Some of the exercises that he just plays around with, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. Which, as you can tell, there's a lot of concentration goes into it for me, and he just runs through it very nicely. Specify. Hi, David. Did you get some covers of your songs from followers? Did I? And if yes, do you plan to share them with their respective permission? It could be very interesting. To be honest, I have no idea. I have chosen with all of my songs so far not to put content claims on them. So they're free. If someone covered them, you're welcome to cover them and claim YouTube revenue and all that sort of stuff. I know this is the opposite of, I'm the opposite of Don Henley. But I don't know if anyone's covered my songs, to be honest. I have had a couple of requests for writing out some of my tunes, and as of such, I haven't done that a lot. I would probably prefer to do a video format, and there has been a couple of videos that I've done on how I play certain songs that are floating around. I think that's what you're asking. So yeah, if you want to cover any of my tunes, feel free, have fun. I'd love to see them. If you do a version, that'd be really cool. I'd be stoked. Yeah, love it. Maybe we should set it up. Maybe we'll do this week. Cover this song and see that. The anti-Don. Nice. Cool. Grimsh, is there an nice exercise to become more familiar with the cage system you'd like to share? Yeah, cool. If anyone wants to get used to and confident with getting around the neck of the guitar, I highly recommend picking Caged is based on C, A, G, E, and D shapes, guitar shapes. and they go in that order and then repeat. So for me, it was literally a process of being able to play C, realize that where you finish up will be the next shape. So this is now an A shape, but still a C chord. Where this finishes up is your next shape. So we get a G shape, still a C chord. So you've got C, A, G. The next shape will be E. So we've now got an E shape. These are all C major chords. And then lastly, you have a D shape, which is, again, a C major chord. So that'll be the first point that I start going through. The next, if you want, I guess, would be picking arpeggios over those shapes. So you're working through the chord as opposed to necessarily playing the shape. For me, it really helped me visualize what's going on. Siri's wanting to join in from my phone. I don't know about you, but she has a random habit every now and then of deciding that I'm talking to her. I don't know why. I'm not. And then I would do that with all your different chords. Any chord that you're playing, go through. Okay, A. So C, A, G would be the next shape. Okay, cool. It's gonna probably stretch and hurt your fingers if you haven't done it before. Then E, then D, then C, then A again. So you're still playing the same chord. All of those are A major chords, but they run into each other. And then lastly, once you've got that understanding, I would pick a song that has, let's say, just 3 chords. I don't even play this song. I don't know why it popped into my head. Brim full of ash on 45. It's a brim full of ash on 45. I don't know. It's the first song that popped into my mind with 3 chords, and I would play it in each of those different positions. And you'll start again. This just familiarity, and it takes a while at the start. But A, moving up to the next shape, you're going to start playing E, D. So the chords are the same, still A, E, D, but now we've got this G shape, which, yes, it's probably going to feel uncomfortable. That nice song. This is exactly what I started this live stream off with, is suddenly playing the same thing. I'm learning Neon actually with John Mayer's picking, even though I've played it for a bunch of times using all four fingers, 5, I guess, with a thumb. But yeah, it feels like you're going backwards. You're then playing A, you're playing a E, but as a D shape. And then your D is going to be a C major shape. And there's going to be some quick changes. Which is gonna get the hand working. But I don't know. I sometimes I've been wanting to put out some quotes and things from me, which might seem weird, but I've done a few podcasts now. I in the process of putting them all in a place where if you want to go and listen to them, you can. But there's a few things that I listen back and they remind me. So it's like it's sometimes I feel weird being like, I share this stuff. And sometimes like doing these live streams is like, I get a lot out of this. So I hope that you guys get a lot out of it. But also the stuff that comes out of my mouth, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's been a while. I could go and do some work on that again. But yeah, I think, there's always stuff that we can learn it's the excitement and progress, I guess, of moving towards something. Like, I'm really looking forward to being able to share actually playing Neon properly for you, and like we were talking about in Clark and at the start of getting locked into the groove. For me, getting confident enough with that little picking pattern that it does actually groove. So if anyone has any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna just practice this riff to silence for a moment. Oh, I am in standard tuning, so it probably will help that I'm in C. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If there are any other questions, then let me know, and we'll laugh about it. That feels so bad. It's amazing. That's the one I got to get. Also, if you have, I just thought of it, if you have any bad jokes for Shimna and my live stream on Thursday, then feel free to let me know. Just put those in the chat and I'll store them up for our show. Mystery, nothing. Okay, I'm gonna finish with a song that I have not played for oh, dangerous path asking for jokes. Did you hear the one about the blind circumcisionist? No, I didn't. He got the sack. Nice. Yeah. Should have expected that. Right. Well, thanks everybody. I'm going to finish with a song that I may remember the words, I may not, but I was just reminded of it the other day. It's a Paul Jones song. If you're into kind of blues, folksy blues, great guitarist, Kiwi guy living here. This is his home. But go and have a look on YouTube. He was one of my inspirations when I first got started playing the guitar. I hear the rain, she's falling in the streets. Close to my heart, it beats so fine, it's raining memories. And you can see that this highway, maybe as a friend, what befalls in Gypsy, man, it's a beautiful thing. You look lovely tonight. Got distracted by all you beautiful people. Time is a lover and she's standing waiting, distant in the wings. 1,000 bells they are ringing to 1,000 hills. Well, I'd give me some money, I shall leave these shores and swim the black distortions of fire where immortality calls. They look lovely tonight. My batteries are dying on the guitar. Just ignore that. you can see that this highway, maybe as a friend, what befalls in Gypsy, man, it's a beautiful sight. Yeah, you look lovely tonight. You look lovely tonight. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I hope you had fun. I hope you have an amazing morning, night, afternoon, day, wherever you are in the world. And I wish you all the best with all the fun things you're working on this week. Hopefully some little moments of joy and success along the way. Yeah. Cheers, Matt. Cheers, Specify Grinch. And Kerry and Josh and everyone that's been on, appreciate you being here. Happy guitar playing. Ciao.